My name is Raphael, and I always believed that my marriage to Juliana was as solid as a rock. We met during college while we were both studying law. I vividly remember the day I saw her for the first time, sitting under a tree on campus, completely absorbed in a book. Her captivating smile and bright eyes immediately caught my attention. After a few weeks of mustering up the courage, I finally approached her, and to my surprise, we discovered we had a lot in common. Over the years, we built a life together. We graduated, landed jobs at prestigious law firms, and eventually decided to get married. Our wedding was simple, but filled with love and joy. Juliana looked stunning in her white dress, and I couldn't contain my emotions as I watched her walk towards me. Our first years of marriage were incredible. We traveled the world, shared unforgettable moments, and supported each other every step of the way. When Juliana was promoted to partner at her firm, I was the first to celebrate with her. And when I went through a tough time after losing an important case, she was there to comfort me and remind me of my worth. We bought our first house together and started talking about having children. I couldn't imagine a better life with anyone else. Juliana was my best friend, my confidant, and my partner in every sense. One day, while we were having dinner at our favorite restaurant, Juliana took my hand and looked into my eyes. "Raphael, you know how much I love you, right?" she said, her expression serious. "Of course I do, love. I love you more than anything," I replied, smiling. "I've been thinking a lot about our relationship lately," she continued, "and I think it's time we're honest with each other about our deepest desires." I looked at her, puzzled. "What do you mean by that, Juliana?" "We've always been honest with each other." She took a deep breath and looked away for a moment before meeting my gaze again. "Raphael, I want to open our relationship. I want the freedom to explore my sexuality with others, to participate in sexual parties with strangers." It felt like a punch to the gut. My mind was spinning, trying to process what she had just said. Sex parties? With strangers? Juliana, where is this coming from? I thought we were happy, that we had a strong relationship. And we do, Raphael. But I also have desires that I can't ignore anymore. This doesn't mean I don't love you or want to betray you. I just want the possibility to explore this side of my sexuality in a consensual and honest way. I could feel tears forming in my eyes. Juliana, I don't know if I can live like that. When we got married, we promised to be faithful to each other. This changes everything. Juliana tried to comfort me, but I pulled away. I felt betrayed, humiliated, and completely lost. How could she suggest something like this after all these years together? Was I not enough for her? That night, lying beside Juliana, I knew that nothing would ever be the same. The marriage I believed to be unshakable was about to face its greatest challenge, and I had no idea how we would overcome it. After Juliana's shocking proposal to open our relationship so she could participate in sex parties with strangers, I was utterly speechless. I felt betrayed and humiliated, as if our years together meant nothing to her. We spent the night in silence, each lost in our own thoughts. The next morning, over breakfast, I decided to confront her again. "Juliana, we need to talk about what you said last night." She sighed and put her coffee cup down on the table. "Raphael, I know this is hard for you, but I need you to try to understand my perspective." "Understand? How can I understand something so absurd? We are married, Juliana. We made vows to each other. Doesn't that mean anything to you?" "Of course it does, Raphael. I love you and always will. But I also need to be honest with myself and with you about my desires. I don't want to live a life full of regrets." I shook my head, incredulous. And you think participating in sex parties with strangers is the answer? How can that be good for our marriage? Juliana tried to explain her reasoning. Raphael, this has nothing to do with our love. It's about sexual exploration, about living new experiences. Many couples do this and say it makes their relationship even stronger. Many couples? Who are these couples, Juliana? Because to me, this sounds like an excuse to cheat and break the trust we've built over the years. She was silent for a moment, as if choosing her next words carefully. I'm not asking you to participate with me, Raphael. You can remain monogamous if you want. I'm just asking for your understanding and support so that I can explore this side of my sexuality. I laughed bitterly. My support? You want me to support you having sex with other men and women at sex parties? Juliana, do you realize how humiliating that is for me? This isn't about humiliation, Raphael. It's about freedom and honesty. I could do this behind your back, but I'm choosing to be transparent with you. I felt the tears streaming down my face. Transparent? You call this transparency? To me, this is a stab in the back. It's proof that our marriage doesn't mean as much to you as I thought. Juliana tried to reach out to me, but I moved away. Raphael, please don't say that. Our marriage means everything to me. I need this. I need to feel like I'm living my life to the fullest. And I need a marriage based on trust, respect, and fidelity, Juliana. If you can't give me that, then maybe it's time to rethink our relationship. She looked at me, shocked. Are you suggesting we separate? I don't know, Juliana. Honestly, I don't know if I can continue being married to someone who wants to participate in sex parties with strangers. That goes against everything I believe in and value in a relationship. Juliana began to cry too. Raphael, please don't give up on us. We can find a way to make this work. I love you. But I had already made my decision. I love you too, Juliana. But I can't live this way. I can't pretend I'm okay with something that hurts me so deeply. If you need to explore your sexuality like this, then maybe it's best if we separate. In that moment, I knew that nothing would ever be the same again. The marriage I believed to be unbreakable was crumbling before my eyes, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. Juliana's shocking proposal had opened a wound that I didn't know if I could ever heal. And now, I found myself facing an uncertain future, without the woman I loved by my side. After Juliana's shocking revelation about her desire to participate in sex parties with strangers, our marriage began to crumble. I tried to understand her reasons, but the more she explained, the more I realized that I couldn't live this way. Our values and desires were no longer aligned, and the trust we had built over the years had been shattered. We spent weeks arguing, trying to find a solution to our problems. Juliana insisted that her desire to explore her sexuality had nothing to do with our love, but I couldn't accept that. Juliana, when we got married, we promised to be faithful to each other. Doesn't that mean anything to you? I asked during one of our arguments. Of course it does, Raphael. But fidelity isn't just about sex. It's about honesty, trust, and mutual support. I'm being honest with you about my desires, and I hope you can support me in this. Juliana replied, trying to convince me. Support you in what, exactly? In betraying our marital vows? In putting our marriage at risk for the sake of a sexual fantasy? I retorted, growing more frustrated. Juliana sighed. It's not a fantasy, Raphael. It's a need. I need to feel alive. I need to experience new things. This doesn't mean I love you any less or want to hurt you. But you are hurting me, Juliana. Every time you talk about these sex parties, about having sex with strangers, it feels like you're betraying me. Like our love isn't enough for you. I said, holding back tears. Raphael, please try to understand. This isn't about our love. I just want... Juliana began, but I interrupted her. Enough, Juliana. I don't want to hear your excuses anymore. If you really loved me, if you really cared about our marriage, you wouldn't be suggesting something so absurd. Juliana was silent for a moment before speaking again. Then what do you suggest, Raphael? That I suppress my desires for the rest of my life? That I live unhappily and unfulfilled? I suggest that you think carefully about what's more important to you, Juliana. Our marriage or your sexual fantasies, because I can't keep living like this. Tears streamed down Juliana's face. I don't know what to do, Raphael. I love you, but I also need to be true to myself. I shook my head, feeling my heart break. If being true to yourself means betraying our marriage, then I think we have our answer. In that moment, I realized there was no hope for reconciliation. Our values and desires had diverged to a point where they were irreconcilable. With a heavy heart, I made the painful decision to separate from Juliana and begin a new chapter in my life. Juliana, I want a divorce, I said, finally vocalizing the decision that had been weighing on me for weeks. She looked at me, stunned. What? Raphael, no. Please, don't do this. We can find a way to make it work. No, Juliana, we can't. You want a life that I can't accept, and I want a marriage based on fidelity and mutual respect. There's no middle ground here. Juliana started to sob, pleading for me to reconsider. But my mind was made up. With a heavy heart, I began packing my bags, preparing to leave behind the life I had built with the woman I once loved. I'm sorry, Juliana, but I can't continue living a lie. I hope you find the happiness you're looking for, even if it's not with me, I said as I walked out the door, heading into an uncertain future. As I left, I knew my life was about to change drastically. The divorce would be painful, but I needed to stay true to my values and myself. I couldn't continue in a marriage where trust had been shattered and where one partner's desires overshadowed the other's. It was time to start a new chapter, to heal my emotional wounds, and to rediscover who I was outside of that relationship. The road ahead would be long and challenging, but I was determined to find happiness again. Months after the painful decision to separate from Juliana, I found myself in the midst of an emotional whirlwind. The divorce process was grueling, filled with endless discussions about asset division and the blame for the end of our marriage. I oscillated between anger and sadness, questioning whether I had made the right choice in refusing to accept Juliana's desires. During this tumultuous period, I decided to explore my own sexuality in a healthy and consensual way. I knew I needed to heal my emotional wounds before entering any other relationship, so I chose to undergo therapy and join support groups for divorced individuals. At one of these meetings, I met Mariana, a woman who had gone through a similar situation. She advised me not to fear exploring my own desires and to establish clear boundaries in any future relationship. Raphael, it's important to remember that the end of your marriage wasn't your fault. You had the courage to stay true to yourself and your values, Mariana told me during one of our post-meeting conversations. I know, but it's still hard not to feel guilty. Sometimes I wonder if I should have been more open, more understanding, I replied, expressing my doubts. Mariana held my hand and looked into my eyes. Don't be too hard on yourself, Raphael. You did what you believed was right for you. Now it's time to focus on your own journey of healing and self-discovery. Her words gave me the strength I needed to move forward. I started attending workshops on sexuality and nonviolent communication, learning to express myself more clearly and assertively. I also allowed myself to meet new people, always being upfront about my intentions and boundaries. That's how I met Rodrigo, a kind and understanding man who had gone through a similar experience. Our relationship began slowly and gradually, with lots of conversation and mutual respect. Raphael, I admire your courage in facing your demons and seeking emotional healing, Rodrigo told me during one of our dates. You are an incredible man and deserve to be happy. I smiled, grateful to have found someone who supported me unconditionally. Thank you, Rodrigo. You have no idea how much your words mean to me. I've spent so much time feeling guilty and inadequate after the divorce. It's good to know that I can be loved and accepted as I am. Over time, I realized that exploring my sexuality wasn't just about romantic relationships. I also discovered new ways to connect with myself, whether through meditation, yoga, or creative writing. In a particularly enlightening therapy session, my psychologist helped me see that my journey of self-discovery was just beginning. Raphael, the end of your marriage doesn't define who you are. It's just one chapter of your story. You have the opportunity to rewrite your future in any way you choose. Those words echoed in my mind for days. I knew there was still a long road ahead, but for the first time in a long time, I felt hopeful and empowered. Mariana, Rodrigo, I don't know what I would have done without you, I confessed during a conversation with my new friends. You helped me realize that I can be loved and respected, regardless of my marital status or sexual desires. Mariana smiled and hugged me. That's right, Raphael. You deserve all the love and respect in the world. Never forget that. At that moment, I knew I had made the right decision by divorcing Juliana. Not because she was wrong to want to explore her sexuality, but because our values and desires were no longer aligned. I needed to free myself from that relationship, to rediscover myself and find my own happiness. And so, with the support of my friends and therapy, I continued my journey of self-discovery and emotional healing. I knew there would still be challenges ahead, but I was determined to face them head-on, because in the end, I deserved to be happy and loved in the most authentic and true way possible. Months after the divorce, I was still on my path of emotional healing. Although I had made progress with therapy and the support of my friends, I felt there was still something missing in my life. That's when I decided to take a journey of self-discovery, in search of answers and a new purpose. I chose a destination that had always fascinated me: India, a land of contrasts, spirituality, and ancient wisdom. I knew I would find the peace and clarity I was seeking there. During my stay at an ashram in Rishikesh, I unexpectedly reconnected with an old college flame, Amanda. She was on a similar journey, looking to find her place in the world after a romantic disappointment. Our eyes met during a yoga class, and instantly, we felt a deep connection. It was as if time hadn't passed, and we were back to our student days when everything seemed possible. Raphael, is that really you? Amanda asked, approaching me after the class. I can't believe we're here after all these years. I smiled, feeling my heart race. Amanda, what an incredible surprise. What brings you to India? She sighed, her smile fading to a more serious expression. It's a long story, but in short, I'm here to find myself again. And you? I told her about my divorce and how I was searching for a new sense of purpose in my life. Amanda listened with attention and empathy, sharing her own experiences and lessons. Over the days, we became inseparable. We explored the temples and colorful streets of Rishikesh, talked about our lives and dreams, and surrendered to the peace and spirituality of the place. It was during a sunset by the Ganges that I realized I was falling in love with Amanda again. Her smile, her wisdom, her compassion. Everything about her captivated me in a way I had never experienced before. Amanda, I need to tell you something, I began, feeling my heart pounding in my chest. These days with you have been the happiest I've had in a long time. I think I'm falling in love with you. She looked into my eyes, a gentle smile on her lips. Raphael, I feel the same way. It's as if the universe brought us together here, after all these years, to give us a second chance. In that moment, under the orange sky of Rishikesh, we kissed for the first time. It was a sweet kiss, full of promises and hope. I knew I had found something special in Amanda, something I couldn't let go of. We spent the rest of the trip not only exploring India, but also our feelings for each other. We shared our joys, fears, and dreams, building a connection that grew stronger and more genuine every day. When it was time to go home, I knew I couldn't leave Amanda behind. She had become my safe harbor, my soulmate. Amanda, I know this may sound crazy, but would you consider starting a new life with me? I know we still have a lot to learn about each other, but I feel like I've found the love of my life in you. With tears in her eyes, Amanda hugged me tightly. Yes, Raphael, I would. I want to build a life with you, based on the love, respect, and companionship we found here in India. In that moment, I felt I had found my true purpose. I had embarked on a journey of self-discovery and ended up finding not only myself, but also the love of my life. I decided to risk everything and start a new life with Amanda. I knew there would be challenges ahead, but I was ready to face them hand in hand with her. With my heart overflowing with love and gratitude, I packed my bags and prepared to leave for a new beginning. India had given me the greatest treasure of all, the chance to love and be loved again in the most authentic and true way. I knew that with Amanda by my side, I could face any obstacle life threw at us. Because together, we were stronger and more complete than we had ever been. And so, hand in hand, we embarked on a new journey towards a bright future filled with love. With my heart full of hope and love, I packed my bags and prepared to leave India and start a new life with Amanda. Our reunion had been so intense and transformative that I had no doubt she was the love of my life. However, upon returning home, I was met with a scene I never expected. Juliana, my ex-wife, was waiting for me in the living room, sitting on the couch with a serious expression on her face. "Juliana, what are you doing here?" I asked, confused and apprehensive. She stood up slowly, her eyes fixed on mine. "Raphael, we need to talk. There's something you need to know." I felt a tightness in my chest, fearing what was coming. "What is it? Did something happen?" Juliana sighed, seeming to choose her words carefully. "Do you remember when I suggested we open our relationship so I could participate in sex parties? Well, that was just an excuse to push you away." I stared at her, stunned. "What do you mean? What are you talking about?" "The truth is, I was having an affair with your best friend, Raphael, and it wasn't just any affair. We've been together for years." It felt like a punch in the stomach. My best friend? The man I trusted implicitly, with whom I shared all my secrets and struggles? This can't be true. You two? How could you do this to me?" I stammered, tears beginning to well up in my eyes. Juliana lowered her gaze, looking ashamed. "We fell in love, Raphael. It wasn't planned, but it happened. And then, we decided to con you." "A con? What are you talking about?" I almost shouted, feeling the rage and betrayal consume every fiber of my being. "We planned everything, Raphael. The sex parties, the divorce, all so we could take your fortune after the separation. You were always so naive, so easily manipulated." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My ex-wife and my best friend, the two people I trusted most in the world, had conspired against me, deceived me, and betrayed me in the worst possible way. You're monsters," I shouted, tears streaming freely down my face. "How could you do this to me? I trusted you. I loved you." Juliana shrugged, seeming indifferent to my suffering. "Don't take it personally, Raphael. It was just business. And now, thanks to our plan, we have everything we ever wanted. In that moment, it felt like my entire world had crumbled. All my beliefs about love, friendship, and loyalty had been shattered by the betrayal of those I loved most. But then, amid the emotional turmoil that consumed me, a thought emerged in my mind. I had escaped from a life of lies, manipulation, and deceit. I had freed myself from those who didn't deserve my love and trust. With a voice trembling but firm, I looked Juliana in the eyes. "You can have everything, Juliana, the money, the possessions, but you'll never have my love, my respect, or my dignity. I will rebuild my life far from you and all this poison." I grabbed my bags and headed for the door, ready to leave behind that life of lies. But before I left, I turned one last time to Juliana. "I hope you and he are happy together, Juliana. But know that this happiness will be built on a foundation of betrayal and deceit, and that, sooner or later, will crumble." With my head held high and my heart broken, I set out to find my true love, Amanda, and an authentic, happy life. I knew the path would be difficult, that I would need to heal the deep wounds left by that betrayal. But I had faith. Faith in myself. Faith in the love I had found in Amanda. Faith in a future where honesty and respect would prevail. And so, with determined steps and a heart full of hope, I moved forward, ready for a new beginning. A beginning where I would be the protagonist of my own story, free from the lies and manipulations that had poisoned my past. I had survived the worst betrayal of all. And now, stronger and wiser, I was ready to embrace a full and happy life alongside the one who truly deserved my love. A new journey was beginning, and I was ready to live it intensely, knowing that the best was yet to come. After the shocking revelation from Juliana, my life took another unexpected turn. I found myself on a quest to rebuild from the ashes of betrayal. But despite the pain and turmoil, I was resolute in forging a new path with Amanda. Our relationship, forged in the serene settings of India, was growing stronger. We leaned on each other for support and continued to explore our connection deeply. Every moment spent with Amanda felt like a healing balm to my wounded soul. As we navigated this new chapter together, I learned to let go of the past and embrace the future with a heart full of hope. Amanda and I faced challenges together, from integrating our lives to building a foundation based on trust and love. In one of our many heartfelt conversations, Amanda expressed her gratitude for our serendipitous reunion. "Raphael, meeting you again has been the most beautiful surprise of my life. I believe we were meant to find each other again, to build a life together full of love and adventure." Her words resonated deeply with me. I felt the same way, that our paths had crossed again for a reason, to give us both a chance at a love that was genuine and profound. Together, we decided to take a bold step forward. We moved in together, blending our lives and dreams. It wasn't always easy. There were adjustments, compromises, and moments of vulnerability. But through it all, our love grew stronger and deeper. One evening, as we sat together watching the sunset, I took Amanda's hand and looked into her eyes. "Amanda, I know our journey hasn't been conventional, but I can't imagine my life without you. Will you marry me? Will you continue this adventure with me as my partner and my love?" Tears welled up in her eyes as she smiled and squeezed my hand. "Yes, Raphael. Yes, I will marry you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you, facing whatever comes our way together." Our engagement was a testament to our resilience and the love we had nurtured against all odds. It was a promise to cherish and support each other through every twist and turn that life would bring. As we planned our future, I felt a profound sense of gratitude. I had endured heartbreak and betrayal, but it had led me to a place of deep love and fulfillment. Amanda and I were creating a life together, filled with shared dreams and unwavering support. On our wedding day, surrounded by friends and family, I couldn't help but reflect on the journey that had brought us to that moment. We stood hand in hand, ready to embark on a new chapter as husband and wife. Raphael, I promise to love and support you, to stand by your side through all of life's adventures, Amanda vowed, her voice full of emotion. And I promise to cherish and honor you, to be your partner in every sense of the word, I responded, my heart overflowing with love. As we exchanged rings and sealed our vows with a kiss, I knew that our love story was just beginning. We had overcome so much to be together, and the future ahead was bright and full of possibilities. Amanda and I set off on our journey as a married couple, ready to face whatever life would bring. With every step, we grew stronger and more united, finding joy and fulfillment in our shared life. The past had taught me valuable lessons about resilience, love, and the importance of staying true to myself. And with Amanda by my side, I felt ready to embrace the future with open arms, knowing that the best was yet to come. Our love, forged through trials and triumphs, was a beacon of hope and a testament to the power of second chances. Together, we were unstoppable, ready to write the next chapters of our lives filled with love, adventure, and unbreakable bond.